start to put tension on my string drawback, I was like, okay, I'm gonna smoke.
It's him. You can look at the horns when he's dead. I'm in the zone. Let the arrow go. Is perfect.
When they lose their front doors, yeah, you start. Yeah, that's how you know they're smoking.
Went about 5-10 more yards. He probably went 20 yards. A little step then we tried to get back up. I saw him pull up.
We rushed 4 meters rods that night. We got like 156 and something like that, and then the next day we came up to 163 even.
You're listening to the White Cat Outdoors podcast, bringing you to the table where we talk about the outdoors.
What's going on, everybody? Episode 126 of the White Cat Outdoors podcast. Welcome. We're happy to have you.
Come join us. Sit at the table.
And we're going to talk.
Join us. No, wait, how's it go? We'll bring you to the table while we talk about the outdoors.
Perfect, Tommy.
Nailed it. So what are we talking about at the table tonight?
Well, before we get into that, it's
Yeah, you
dirty.
said housekeeping.
Yeah, it's a little dirty. Tom, grab the broom.
So,
Get a
talked
dustpan.
to my local taxidermist today, Emma Bredlinger, who does great work.
Had her on the podcast.
Yeah.
We did. And turns out my buck is done and ready for pickup. So
Nice.
I'm super stoked about that.
You going to go get it tonight?
I don't know. I wouldn't be about it. I don't know where her studio is, if it's at her house or her parents' house.
I picked mine up from her parents' house.
Yeah, I'll...
So you should look into
I
that.
mean, because if it's at her parents' house, it's
literally
basically-
5
well, she
seconds
didn't take
away.
pictures yet.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
you
so
can't
we'll
have
probably
it.
just do it later. Then.
Yeah, it's raining outside right now.
I would let her take the pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
Tell her to do it in the fucking rain.
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, super stoked about that.
So tell us a little bit more about the mount. We were talking before, and I was buried in something else. What do you know? Or is this why I didn't hear what you're doing?
No, I didn't announce it yet. But so this buck, it's a 9, big 9, 5 on one side, 4 on the other.
Had him on video.
Yeah, and it's been so long since I've seen him. I honestly forget which side had 4, which side had 5. But
You would turn to the 5
yeah,
way.
I have a slight turn, so his 5 side will be off the wall, exposed.
Nice.
So pretty excited about it.
Is it like semi-sneak, straight up, full sneak?
I think it's
That's a semi.
semi sneak. Then
He's got a semi?
It's literally like that one.
Wow.
I know you guys can't see what I'm pointing at, but
So
Frank
will
says
this
it's
be your-
semi sneak.
So this would be your first semi?
First semi.
Perfect.
Pretty pumped. So I'm definitely going to post some pictures. If you don't follow Bredlinger Taxidermy, you probably should. I'm sure there'll be pictures of it on there. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Actually, by the time you're listening to this on Sunday, I might already have it. So
Better have it by
Probably
then.
will.
yeah, I might.
You picked a place out on the wall temporarily for it.
It's going in my room.
Okay, I just
Yeah, actually, I don't know how I'm
Maybe
going
about
to
the
have to get
office.
some
Some tap cons.
why don't you put it in the office?
because there's no room in the office.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because that's how Nick was saying it.
Say it what way?
It's weird.
Why are you saying it weird?
So yeah, I'm hyped.
I did kind of
Looking forward to
sound
it.
like Rochester a little
Yeah,
bit.
you sounded fucking weird.
Yeah, it happens.
So other than
Anyway.
that, I have been turkey hunting. It has not been going as I hoped. I've been having great hunts. No one can tell me otherwise. It's been a lot of fun. Saturday morning, I worked a bird longer than I've ever worked a bird. Worked him for like 3.5 hours.
That's insane. Were you in one spot or did you move on
No,
a
I
couple
moved.
times?
I moved on him a few times. Had
Every trick we've talked about on this podcast and has worked for us, Tom threw out that day.
yeah.
And he
I
wasn't-
tried everything. So I'll give you the scoop.
He was interested the whole time.
The whole time, every time we would call, hammerback, and he'd get closer, and then
You
he'd
considered it was a human.
no. But it's
That just
definitely
blew this case wide open. No, I'm just
Only
kidding.
it's a
No,
human,
it's pretty
because-
obvious. I'm fucking with you.
yeah. So we get set up, before the sun comes up, and no goblin on the roost. That's kind of been like the thing lately. I don't know. It's weird.
I've been seeing that too.
Yeah, no goblin on the roost, but it's like
Every
they're
morning.
on fire when they hit the ground, which that's fine
wild.
by me.
Yeah.
So no goblin on the roost, and I'm on this field edge, and I'm like, I don't think there's birds around here. So I pack up and go to a different area at my granddad's property where there's this big ravine that runs through the middle of the woods. And I'm working on the edge of this ravine, and it was recently logged, so there's a bunch of tops and everything. And I call, bird hammers back. So I'm like, all right.
Shut up.
But he sounds like he's down in the bottom of the gully. And it's not like one of those ravines that's straight down, straight up. It's,
Real gradual.
well, I mean, it's pretty,
You can
it's
walk
very,
it.
I
It's one-sided.
slid, no, it's, you weren't even there.
I've been there.
It's not one-sided. It's steep, but the bottom is wide. It's a big flat on the bottom. It's not like the creek and then goes
Right
straight
back
up.
up.
Yeah, there's probably 30 yards on either side of the creek where it's flat.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, he's down on the bottom. I'm going to get down on the bottom. I should be able to call him through. There's no logs or tops or anything down there. I think it'll be easier to call him through there.
Kind of like how it was where you and I were setting up in Maryland those couple days when we walk over the Beaver Dam.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to paint the picture in my head here.
Yeah, so 2 big ravine walls on either side, nice flat in the bottom. This bird's going to come right in. So we get all set up. I'm sitting here. My dad's 40 yards behind me calling. That way, if they get hung up out at 80 yards, he's only going to be 40 from me.
Done deal.
Smoke him. So this creek's kind of windy, so you can't see super far. Mm-hmm. But these birds come quite a ways, and they're gobbling, and I'm like, all right, they are seconds away from coming into my sight. Mm-hmm. And they never do. I'm like, what the heck? So my dad texts me, he says, hey, I'm going to back up, 100 yards, make it sound like I'm losing interest walking away. So he does that, calls a hammerback. So he just sits down, shuts up. Well, next thing you know, about 5 minutes later, those birds went up the gully side, worked the top, and now are even with me. And they're gobbling like crazy. And they're so close, I can feel it in my chest.
Yeah, they're right
But
next to you, just up the hill.
Yeah, I can see the top of the hill, but I can't see, the flat once it crests over. And they had to be right on the edge. So we're sitting there working them. Can't call them down the hill. I've always heard that it's easier to call a turkey uphill than it is downhill.
Yeah, but you got to be ready to shoot when they pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I don't know why they went up the hill when
you guys were down. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, it turns obvious that they're not coming. So my dad texts me. He said, we're going to make a loop around them, get in front of them, because they were working the edge of this ravine, which goes back out to the field I was originally in. So we figured that maybe they'd be trying to work that ravine edge out into the field. So me and my dad meet back up, stay on the bottom, out of sight, and walk the bottom of this creek, pop out at the top of the ravine. And we wanted to get there quick, but we had to do it quietly. So you got to find that happy medium of you're not going to go fast and be silent, but you're not going to get there in time if you go super slow.
Yeah.
So kind of found that happy medium where you're borderline making too much noise where you might spook them, but you got to get in front of them.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to get in front of them. So we get there, get set up right on the edge of this field, call, this bird hammers back, and we're like, all right, we're in it now. So, and now we're in the tops that I was talking about earlier, which wasn't a huge fan of because turkeys will get hung up on a stick.
Yeah,
in front of
so
them.
if you got a bunch of tops, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. So we're calling this bird, and he's coming in on a string. I'm like, it's going to happen. So he gets to the point again where I can feel his gobbles in my chest, but I just cannot see him. And we had quit calling at this point because obviously we made quite a bit of calls. He knows right where we're at, and we're just going to let him come in. Mm-hmm. So he's gobbling. He had to be within 50, 60 yards. I could not see him.
Couldn't see through the tops.
So he goes quiet for about 15 minutes. And the next time we call, he had crossed the ravine and was up on the other side. I'm like, what the hell? So all of that.
You got to sneeze or something?
Bless you.
I've heard that always works. If you say bless you before they sneeze,
Yeah, look at
it
him.
stifles it.
Yeah, thought I was gonna sneeze, didn't. Yeah, so I don't
I
know.
like how you told that as like it was part of the story.
I don't know what happened. All of that took over 3 hours. We got him fired up at like 7:30, and he crossed the ravine and was going the other way at like 11. So I'm like, this bird got the best of me today.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to give him the bird. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
So that was that. Then Sunday, could only hunt for a little while because I had a graduation to attend, which was super exciting for my fiance. Graduated from, I'm drawing a blank.
Mercyhurst.
I know it's Mercyhurst. Fashion merchandising. I didn't want to call it the wrong thing. From Mercyhurst. So
Congratulations, Carly.
yeah, very happy for her.
So proud of her.
Yeah. So we only hunted till what, 8:30?
Yeah,
Sunday morning?
cool. And it was mainly because the way the hunt went down, we didn't have time to try another
Make
setup.
another set. Yeah.
Yeah.
So me
You
and
know
Nick knew we could only hunt, till 9 o'clock max.
Mm-hmm.
So the night before, we decide we're going to go in guns blazing. We're going to get right up on them. And when they pitch down, they're going to pitch down into our lap, do a few
Done
clucks
deal.
just to bring them into shotgun range, and it's going to be over. So I thought I had these birds patterned. They always roost on the hillside, like 3/4 of the way up to the top. So me and Nick get right where we want to be, or close to where we want to be, and we're looking around, and Nick goes, I think we need to get 50 yards over there.
And I point. There's a black cherry tree and a beech, like 10 feet apart, perfect, facing up the hill. I'm like, let's get to those.
We take 3 steps and hear the
Oh.
flutter of feathers flying.
I mean, literally directly above us.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
had we
nice.
just sat down, it
You'd
might
been
have.
fine.
Yeah, but that few more steps. I mean, he was roosted at the bottom of the hill, like
Which
not
they
even,
never do.
never.
That's wild.
So we're like, well,
Just when you think you got them figured out, they throw you for a loop every time.
Yeah.
So Tom and I at this point are like, snap. There's never just one bird over here.
Mm-hmm.
So like we need like one flew, but there's probably one really close. So let's just sit down.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat down pretty much right where we were. Like I don't think we moved hardly at all. So we sit down again. No gobbling on the roost. No hens. Nothing. And then so we're sitting there, and it was light for a while. And then finally, all of a sudden, we start hearing a hen. Cluck, 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 cluck. Yep, yep, yep. A little cackling, just having a good old time over there, but no gobbles. So Tom breaks out the old mouth call, gives a few calls. Boom. Bird hammers where that one flew away to. Like, it was probably the bird that we kicked out. Hammers on the other side of the foundation.
No.
Or not
Gaswell.
the gas well, sorry.
You idiot.
All right. Well, tell the story then.
So how
Nice
this
to hear your voice for a change.
how this setup is, there's this big hillside, and then there's this hidden it used to be a goldenrod field. It's a food plot now. And then there's a patch of woods, and
What's a platch?
similar to a patch.
Just a little smaller.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
And then there's our big field. So this bird's gobbling, and that hidden goldenrod field is directly in between me and this bird.
Us and this bird.
Us and this bird. And I'm like, oh, a lot of times they don't want to cross an open area, but maybe this one will. So we're calling, and he gets right to the edge of this hidden field and just hangs up there. I'm like, you rascal. So we worked him for there, 30 minutes, and then you could tell he was getting further and further away. Mm-hmm. So me and Nick, we loop around to this hidden field, and we're right at like the trail that goes into it from the woods, and we're putting this game plan together of how we can kill this bird. And I'm like, well, let's see if I can locate him, try and figure out, how much room we have to move. So I call, and he hammers back, and he sounds to be about, I don't know if you guys were listening to my latest turkey hunting episode, but that concrete slab where I blew the birds out the week before, he sounded to be about over there. So I'm like, okay, he's a couple hundred yards. Let's make a loop, try and get even with him, and then we can call him. We'll call him straight through the timber. He won't have to cross this field. So, all sounds good.
I drop back.
Yeah, Nick
Tom.
drops back about 50 yards. I get set up and call. He hammers back. Call, hammers back. He's not getting any closer. And then all of a sudden I see him pop out into our big field, and he goes out into
Which the birds never go to that field. Like
No.
I think we kicked him up in the morning, and it totally threw him off routine, and we just had we were just one step behind all morning.
But yeah, once I seen him out in the field, I was like, okay, we have a clean escape to not blow anything up. We don't have time to keep working this bird. We'll
Just dip.
tie a bow on it. So that was that. Good hunt. It's always fun to work a bird.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've definitely put the boots to them a couple times. Just haven't been able to put any lead in their head.
We're getting close.
We forgot we had a bit of a problem. The whole reason we were up there, we skipped over because we were just talking turkeys and stuff. So Tom and I went out to start our food plots for the year.
Just wanted to get them mowed. That's all.
just trying to get a good jump on things so we could spray next week. So we get up there Saturday and drop the trailer. Tom loads up, starts driving down to the main field. I start push mowing the yard. I get about 2 swipes in, which you have to repeat many times, but
Yeah.
about 2 swipes with done. And Tom calls me, says he needs me down at the farm. I'm like, or down at the field. I'm like, what the heck? The service is terrible up there. So I'm getting like every third word. And it's like tractor broke,
Field.
yeah. It's like, all right, I'll just be down. So I drive my truck down there, and to make a long story short, gearbox blew up on the brush hog. But we should have her fixed by Friday. So
And 1 week delay on the food
No,
plots.
it's not-
That's not gonna hurt anything.
no, it was just kind of a kick in the nuts because it was like,
Yeah, you brought everything up
Had-
there
high
ready to go.
hopes. I like to call it tractor therapy. And my tractor therapy lasted about 15
Shot you
minutes.
right in the face.
we
Yeah.
did get to go to the local watering hole and give some guys some lessons on pool. That was fun.
That's always a good
You
time.
love to see that.
He was bragging about how he shoots. He's got a bar in his basement with a pool table. He's really good. And Tom and I spanked him twice in a row when he packed up stuff and left.
Well,
Did he
the
have his
kicker-
own
the-
stick?
No, at home he does.
The best part was, so obviously if you shoot pool at a bar, you know how it works. If you want a game, you put your quarters, and
Yeah.
if there's 3 quarters already up there, well then you put it next and you're up in 3 games. So there was a few stacks of quarters. We were playing our first game. Me and Nick smoke them, and he's not up for like 3 more games. He's like, no, I'm taking that back right now. So we're like, all right, Haas, line them up.
And the guy that was next.
What the hell's going on here?
He was our cousin. He was like, screw it, whatever. Like,
Oh, okay.
He's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, so-
Smoked them again. I think they had like 6 balls left on the table.
That's pretty good.
Well, I think it was just Tom and I were both playing exceptionally well. I don't think either of us pretend to be some masters of pool, but like I would say I'm competitive in bar pool.
Oh, yeah.
It's about as far as I'm willing to say. So that was a lot of fun. Got back. I was ready to leave French Creek around 9:30, 10.
Stayed
maybe.
till about 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Big time. I remember we went back to the cabin because we were doing this whole guns blazing routine. We wanted to get up at 4. I felt like I just laid my head down, and then next thing I know, Tom's standing in the cabin saying, "Hey, it's 5 o'clock. We got to get moving."
We wanted to be in the woods at 5.
Nick is still snoring at 5.
Well, I honest to God, we were like walking into the woods by 5:15. Like, I mean, it was like,
You were moving.
oh yeah, we were going.
That's nice. That's always good when you wake up late and you're just like, shit, just throwing stuff on as fast as possible,
Hoping
running
you
out the
have
door.
everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the mornings when you get like 3/4 of the way to your setup and you're like, shit, my shells are on the table.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So
But those are usually successful mornings, too.
my dad's biggest buck to date, he killed right after dumping an entire bottle of sparkling raspberry water on him.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And he forgot his hat.
And
My
rum,
biggest
too.
buck to date, we've told the story on the podcast before, but it was just like it was just a messed up day and turned out to be great. So you never
So it
know.
was fun. Yeah. I did my first official search for morels with
Oh yeah,
no success. I had a guy with me that is real big into the mushroom game and finds a lot, and he actually told me, because it's our property, but he said, hey, I drive by this all the time. That place looks perfect for morels.
Really?
So we went in there. We walked, I think, like, total, I had it tracked on my watch. It was like almost 2 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't find a single one. Found a lot of fiddleheads, which are edible. And
What do they look like?
it's actually a fern. But it's like when ferns are first coming up, there's like that
Oh,
swirly at
okay.
the end. Those
Yeah.
are called fiddleheads.
Oh.
Did you eat one?
No, because he said that there's only, I can't remember which. Oh no, hold on. Okay, this is probably wrong, but I think it's like a peacock fern or a willow fern. I know that's not even close to the same, but it's something, one of them. There's only one type of fern that the fiddleheads are edible on, and then the other we had wild leeks. Those were out there. Which there's actually a different name for those. It starts with an R, I think.
Leeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, they call them something different down south. We were just talking about it the other day at work.
Starts with an R, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Because a guy that I work with made leek sausage, and it was friggin' good. I've never had it, but I love leeks. Like Grandma makes leek soup all the time. And stuff's good, and that sausage was delicious. But I can't remember. Somebody said something about like the other name for leeks.
Ramp.
Yeah, he's like, it's what they call them like down in West Virginia or something.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. But
Speaking of West Virginia, did you see that guy that found the giant land sloth skull in West Virginia?
no, I didn't.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Tell us about it.
I did.
That's the
So
end of the
would you
story.
read the article head and that's it?
No, he was turkey hunting with his father-in-law.
And it was just laying on top of the ground.
No, it was in the
Started digging.
No, it was in the creek, and he thought it was like a root ball. And he said he almost kicked it out of the way until he saw a molar.
That would have been wild if he just tossed
Shattered
it away.
into pieces. Just kicked it.
Yeah. Then he said it was covered in mud and clay and sand. So he said he pulled it out, rinsed it off a little bit, thought it was cool, didn't know what it was, and set it on the bank and was like, I'll grab this after my turkey hunt. So after his turkey hunt, went back, picked up the skull, brought it back to his house, cleaned it up. Initially thought it was a cow skull, just 'cause how big it
Yeah.
was. And his father-in-law was like, there's no way that is a cow skull. So then they posted some pictures on social media asking for opinions and whatnot. And someone suggested that it was a giant land sloth.
How does somebody suggest that? Like, as if that's like their expertise.
Maybe
is
they
Well,
work at a
giant
local
landslide.
university or something.
But anyway, they
maybe.
contacted a biologist or whatever you
But
want
in
to call
West
it.
Virginia, come on.
yeah,
And-
you're right. You're right.
Confirmed that it was the giant land sloth, which I didn't even know that was a thing or that they lived in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't America back then.
What is now America. But yeah, so
That's crazy.
Wow.
other than that,
Yeah. I was just thinking, I don't think I've ever found any cool shit while hunting. Like,
I've seen cool things like that animals do,
Oh,
but I've
yeah,
never
but I'm
like
saying, like,
found
I've never,
something
like-
like that.
I point out every newt I find, Tom. That's it.
You point out every what?
Newt.
Oh, I thought you said nude. I was like, why are you?
No, it's a snood
Why are you finding nudes in the
in the
woods?
timber.
Yeah, it'd be wild. Just come across Playboy magazines all the time when you're
There,
walking through the
speaking
woods.
of that, when we were little in like Little League baseball, there was a campsite back behind the fields. It was way down in there. There was this campsite, and there was like a bunch of burnt magazines in there, and several of them were Playboys. You couldn't really make out much.
So
but-
that's where you had your first boob.
Yeah, had my first boob there. No, but like I mean, it was like 99% burnt up, but like you could see like in
You
the
could tell it
corners.
was a Playboy.
Yeah, you could see like the little bunny, and it was like,
It's wild.
yeah, I had to have been probably 10, 11, if that. I mean, we were young. Do you remember that?
no.
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. I played baseball longer than you did,
Yeah.
so I forgot that there was a few years you didn't play in there. But yeah, like Tom said, other than that, that's all I got for you tonight.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
I guess from what I am understanding, the morel season is coming to an end here pretty quick. But turkey season, we still got a few more days.
You can hunt all day now.
Weeks.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what other states you guys are in, but congratulations on all the birds being shot. Our buddy Sharpie killed a big old bird.
Oh, absolutely.
Congratulations to him. I forgot about that. And Mark Sobes, our cousin, he killed a nice big bird.
Nice.
So congratulations to you guys. And if you're haven't filled your tag, make sure you guys are all still getting outside.